So as that integrator, Tim, you're basically doing in essence, that project management aspect of the role in the project. And as a project management service provider, in a sense, scope can become an issue because projects can run into obstacles. You can have challenges that you had no idea about. How do you prevent that scope
Really?
creep from happening?
No, that doesn't happen.
With that, the challenge is how do you price accurately if then all of a sudden this challenge comes up? Now, do you have you know, something that you add on because there's this aspect of the project that you didn't know about? Do you charge more for that? How do you handle scope creep in a sense? And how do you price effectively as a project management provider?
Great question. We go to market. We go to market in multiple ways, but 3 ways. One is a letter of engagement. We provide a resource to the client, and that resource has a specific talent set, and they're under the management and control of the client. That's called a letter of engagement, and that's purely T&M and hourly. So
Okay.
that's a client decision. We provide a scope of engagement, and that is still T&M, but it usually has a project manager involved. It's built T&M. There's a team defined and then a clear definition of the deliverable. And then if there's changes in the deliverable that are discovered throughout the process, then you quickly and hopefully as quickly as possible define what that change is. Sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. And then there's what we call a full scope, a SOW, scope of work, and it's a fixed price engagement. Again, not really that different than a scope of engagement, scope of work, but we have to quickly identify when we get involved at the kickoff call or as we have it, what we call progress of any kind of project, any what you called scope creep. We're moving outside the lanes here, and that's tough for people. So your project managers have to be okay with, I guess the word is confrontation, because sometimes you do get into confrontation. No one ever wants to pay more. Everyone thinks we all were on the same page 3 weeks ago and now we're not. So I think it starts with a deliverable, a definition in the scope. And we really try to ensure that we are on task with the client in terms of what the deliverable is. The other thing that we do different that we do get pushback a lot on is the customer. We get this in the technology space. Maybe you get it in the construction space. Hey, we want to build this house. What's it going to cost me? Well, let me look at the plans and the design. Oh, we don't need those. We don't need no plans and design. I was just at Home Depot and there's everything you need to build a house at Home Depot. We just build it. So we'll go into a client. We call it a phased approach. We're going to do a phase 1, and we're going to really understand your current circumstances, what you're currently trying to do, and we're going to map out what you're trying to accomplish and mutually have agreement on that. And we'll charge you a fee for that as part of the scope of phase 1. And then phase 1 will define phase 2 or phase 3 and phase 4. And that's worked well for us. We do that specifically a lot of times in our application development area because people have this vague idea of what they would like to see happen, what they want to see happen on the screen or their websites or whatever. But until we really have that defined, and the pushback is, well, Bob's computer over here, they'll just come in and do everything up front, give me a fixed price after a couple of meetings, and we'll have a price, and we'll say, yeah, I'm sure there are. We don't find that to be the best way to do it for both parties, but if that works for you, that works for you. So we're okay walking away.
Yeah, that's
part of our culture.
That's so important. The willingness to walk away from a job is huge, but also you're effectively charging to give an estimate. Like if you want me to quote this job, we got to go through a phase one. We're going to understand it really well because that's the only way we're going to be able to give you an accurate quote. And that costs money because it takes time, right?
Yeah. And you'll have customers come back that way. So we've kind of circumvented that a little bit by when the client asks us, so if it's something, whatever they need done, we need a new network deployed, or we need a new SD-WAN, or whatever the technology is, we'll say, great, let's review your design criteria and your design, and we'll work from there, get you what you need. And then they go, well, we don't have that. Oh, well, we can help you with that. And so rather than approach it from a standpoint of we're going to charge you for an estimate, we're always trying to be positive with them in terms of just assuming what they must understand. They need a design for the house. What's the blueprints for the house?
Right.
And
and you're delivering something of value for the upfront money, not just the way you phrase it.
Yeah,
you're delivering something of value.
Yeah, we're not just generating a quote. We're not charging to generate a quote. I don't know right now what to quote. I have no idea what to quote.
Right.
And you'll hear things like, "Well, you're the experts," and so forth and so on. You know, I want to add on these 4 rooms and 2 bathrooms, and I want to put a second level on. Can you just give me a quote for that? No, probably not. What's your design? And, you know, not that you have to have an architect, but you got to have some plans, you know, how you think this is going to lay out. Well, you need to include that. Well, I'm not sure that's, you want to go that route. We need to get someone in here, and we can help you with that. We can bring in the experts to help you with that design and make sure it's going to work the way you want it to. Some customers, I had a customer in Texas, last week in the construction business. Actually, it's interesting how the construction business, a lot of times we get this from people in the construction business. I said he's going to go out for RFP because their world is RFPs and RFQs.
Yeah.
And I said, he goes, we want you to participate. We've heard good things about you guys. We want you to participate. We said, great. Send us your design specs of what you want to see happen and how you see it happening. And we'll get back with you on putting that together. Well, no. We don't have anything. We just want you to
quote something.
What it's going to cost.
Quote Shakespeare.
Yeah. And it was like, well, no, that doesn't really make sense. Well, there's other guys who will just quote it. I said, oh, okay. I said, maybe that'll work. But I reminded him, he's in a lot of pain right now because I think he did that last time.
Yeah.
But I got to be careful because people don't necessarily want to be reminded that their staircase that they just built is falling through, and now maybe we should put some design into how it should work.